Sin. Deliberate disobedience to the known will of God. Temptation. The desire to do or have something that you know you should avoid. The temptation to sin is the biggest conflict that we mortal beings must face. Jesus gave us the solution to this conflict. God came down to earth and manifested himself in the form of man, gave himself flesh and blood. He came down and saw life from our point of view. He gave us the perfect example of what a Christian life should be, proved to us that walking this walk is very doable. Can you believe that? Almighty, all-powerful God actually took the time to look at things through our eyes. He helped us with a solution to our conflicts. Now, don't you think that we, mere humans, for whom the essence of our being is to worship God and to bring glory to his name, don't you think that we ought to continue his illustration and take the time to look at life through the world's eyes? We should always look at things from other people's point of view. It is very beneficial, especially when solving conflicts. I have a friend, he's agnostic, and well, that means he doubts the existence of God. He doesn't say that God doesn't exist, he just well, he thinks it's more likely that aliens do. I don't know, I thought to myself, how could anyone in their right mind think that aliens exist? But then I realized that some people think, how could anyone in their right mind think that God exists? When I looked at it through his eyes, I started to understand how he couldn't know that God existed. He wasn't able to count the times that he had felt the presence of God. He had no experience at all to look back on. There was no way that he could realize God's power. No way that he could conceive of his existence. Because it was all based on faith. And he didn't have that faith. Now, I didn't say to him, well, dude, you're going to hell if you don't believe. I didn't judge him or condemn him. Instead, I tried to explain things to him on his level of faithlessness. I tried to help him resolve the conflict in his mind. You know, God or aliens. God or aliens. Unfortunately, I can't say that he accepted Christ and is now walking with the Lord, but I can say that after all the debates, sometimes he, had debated with pastors and teachers and stuff, but he finally asked me, not them, he asked me, how do you feel God? He asked me because I was the only one who had taken the time to see from his eyes. In the movie Dead Poets Society, Professor Keating, he had the boys in his class stand up on their desks so that they could see the room from a different point of view. Because think about it, the ceiling doesn't see everything from the same view as the floor. I mean, if that were so, the world would be flat, right? I think we all should regularly stand up on the desks in our lives, or, sit on the floor so that we can see things from a different perspective. Because, life is a beautiful thing, and you can't see the whole picture if you're standing in one spot. On dictionary.com, definition 5A of passion is it's the suffering of Jesus in the period following the Last Supper, and including the crucifixion as related in the New Testament. What was the point of this suffering? What was this passion for? Why did he come in the form of man and see life through our eyes? It was to give us a solution to a conflict that we had created, where man was separated from God and couldn't feel his presence. It was because he loved us, because he cared. God gave us the perfect example of how we should live our lives, the perfect example of who we should be as Christians. So why don't we embrace his passion and come down from wherever we're perched in our lives? Reach out to the next person. Get a bit of grip on their perspective. Understand their conflict. Be the one to make a change. Embrace empathy and not just sympathy. Be for real and be passionate about it. Look through someone else's eyes. Don't be so absorbed in yourself.